Let's take a look at how to set up deductions in the Winledge Payroll Corporate Edition. If you're using the Professional Edition, the instructions are pretty much the same. So if we click this little search button, we can take a look at some of the deductions that are already set up for us. So things like Canada Pension Plan, employment insurance, federal tax, all of these are basically automatically set up in the system. You can look at any of these at any time and just see the way they're set up and which box number in the T4 they go into and things like that. But what we want to try here is to set up our own deduction. So we click on the Add button up at the top. It asks us for a code for this deduction, so I'll just put in UNI. And we'll set it up as a uniform deduction. So right away, the next box is going to ask us for the calculation formula. And all of the Winledge payroll products have a number of different options here. So I can do it as a value entered by the user. So this is like a fixed dollar amount we're going to put for this deduction. I could do it as a percentage of gross, regular, overtime. So there's quite a few different combinations that you can apply to a deduction. I'm just going to scroll through them so you can see the list here. So you choose the one that kind of matches to whatever type of deduction you're doing. Next is the status. This is only used, later on if you want to sort of make a deduction inactive. You don't want that deduction to be in use anymore. So you can keep the deduction around, but just set it to inactive so it won't show up. So once I've chosen the formula and the status, then I can start to determine what effect this deduction will have on certain items. So it might increase tax, it might decrease tax, or it might have no effect whatsoever on tax. You can do the same thing for Quebec tax if this deduction only applies in Quebec. You can affect EI. You can, again, increase or decrease. Same on CPP, employer's health tax, WSIB, and again in Quebec, the QPIP. And then you can even indicate how it affects vacation pay. Will it, be included in the vacation pay or not? So all of these can be done individually for each deduction that you set up. You can also set dollar amounts for the deduction and basically have caps or max amounts. So you could say this deduction no more than $45 a pay. So it might be a 3% deduction, but no more than $45. You can also set like an annual max. So keep deducting this until it hits $450 for the year. Or you can just have a total accumulated deduction amount. So I could say when it hits $600 in total, then stop deducting it. You can also set minimum amounts. Again, it would work better with a percentage type of deduction, but you could say, deduct 2% and a minimum of, say, $10. We've also got a type code to enforce if it falls below the minimum, or 0 if it falls below the minimum. You can set this to be a default deduction, so this deduction will automatically be selected when you start a new payroll. And if it's a special type of dollar amount, you can set a non-periodic payment calculation. After that, we get to the T4 box assignment, and we can assign it to any boxes that are available on the current year's T4. And we can assign it to more than just one box if we needed to. We can do the same for the RL1 slip, or the T4A slip if this is a commission type of payroll. You can set the posting options here like you can set in the income codes, so you can have posting at detail level or posting according to the company file. You can also set import and export codes, so if you're exporting the deduction data from timesheets or you're importing deduction data, you can have cross-reference codes for import and export codes. There's no limit to the number of deductions you can set up in the payroll, so you can have as many deductions here as you like. You can then assign these as default values in the employee record. You can then make choices during timesheet entry or during the payroll run to say, I want these particular deductions, I don't want these. And of course, at timesheet entry, you can often override the deduction as well. So there's a lot of flexibility here.